Hi, I'm Sasha, and I love books. So I'm still doing the throwback my year in books on Goodreads. I'm now in 2021. That year, I only read 28 books. That was around 3,360 pages that was read. So the shortest book I read that year was 13 pages. It's called Fritz the Food Fanatic. I actually know and have met the illustrator of this book. She was shadowing, I believe, uh, at the veterinary clinic that I worked at the time. She was becoming a veterinarian or was a veterinarian just getting some more hours in. I'm not sure, but she told me that she worked on a book and I was like, OMG, let me download it, let me read it. So I did. Anyway, during that year, I was still in school. I actually graduated in 2021. So that's the reason that my longest book was The Concept of Fitness and Wellness. I Yeah, it was just, a BS class so I can finish out my credits. In that year, the average book length I had was 120 pages. The most shelved book from that year of 2021 was The Hobbit or There and Back Again. When I tell you, nothing, nothing on this planet prepared me for actually reading this story. Like, nothing actually prepared. It was so good. I don't even like fantasy. I do not like fantasy whatsoever. But this was such a good story. And then the ending of it was so crazy. I was just like, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Now, I will say with this book, it was one of the books that made me realize that one of my favorite things to do while reading is to read along while I have the physical book. So at the time, my roommate had the physical book. And so I borrowed it while I was listening to the audio. And so I was reading along. And I realized I really, really, really like reading along with the book, with the audio. So I also found that out with The Hobbit. Least Shelled is Fritz the Food Fanatic. That My average rating of 2021 was a 3.6. Again, it's really hard to get up to that 4 and 5 slot. This is genuinely hilarious. The highest rated on Goodreads that year was Fritz the Food Fanatic. And then my first review of the year was Fritz the Food Fanatic. The last book that I reviewed that year was Sugar Falls, a residential school story. This graphic novel made me cry, opened my eyes to, yes, I knew the horrors that indigenous children went through, still going through in some places. Uh, it's just, hearing it from someone instead of just someone being a number on a piece of paper is, oh my goodness. Yeah, I would highly suggest this is this is one of the ones that I would say, like, one of the 1,000 books to read before you die that would be on my list. This would definitely be on the list. Like, you just should read this book. It's a graphic novel. It's very short, but it has such a huge impact on my thinking and my understanding of other people's history, which is also my history, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, no, this is just read Sugar Falls. Just, trigger warning, it's sad, but it's a story that needs to be heard. Anyway, that was my bookish 2021. Bye, y'all.